All righty. Hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's the team training time. And it's me and Michelle. We actually are gonna come on here. We're gonna do some Q&A kinda and ask some questions here. And so I'm gonna allow Michelle to ask me a question, and then I'll answer it, and then I'll ask her a question, and we'll kind of bounce it back and forth. And I'm pretty sure we'll give y'all some good nuggets today. So okay. All right, Michelle. So I'm gonna pass it to you so you can ask me the first question, then I'll do the same with you.
All right, that sounds good. Well, happy Wednesday, everybody. We are halfway through the week. So tonight, Ant, you have been with first Limu and now RX, what, 9 years, almost 10? Awesome.
Well, almost 9. Yeah.
Almost 9. All right. So that means you have a lot of experience with talking to people, different levels of experience and comfort with network marketing. And so I was hoping that you could tell us some nuggets, some guidance on how to connect with people who have that network marketing experience. And if you could speak to a case of someone who has had a negative experience, maybe somebody who has been in previously, they kind of get the industry, but didn't go very far or stopped with the company they were with before. And then with regards to how to talk to somebody who's in another company already.
Okay. Well, great. I can definitely do that. I think I come across that pretty much almost every single day. Almost every single day I've run across or conversate with somebody that has pretty much been in a network marketing company. It's very, very, very common, and you'll realize that as you go along. And so, to answer one of the questions, which was how do you approach somebody that's maybe in another network marketing company? For me, I don't like to try to feel like I'm taking somebody from their company. If that makes sense. For me, if one of my friends or family member is in another network marketing company, I'm not going to try to come pitch them about my company. They're already in the company. What the best thing you could do for them is compliment them and encourage them. Show them, oh, well, you're in the company. Oh, great. That's awesome. Like, for instance, let's say, for instance, um, I went RX and Robin was in Limu, and I come and share with Robin, and she mentions Limu. I'm gonna stop right there. I'm not gonna try to recruit her into my business. If she's already in the company, let her be happy. Encourage her. Tell her that, hey, it might not be easy, but it'll be worth it. Encourage that person, and just move along. Trust me, there's plenty of people in this world. You don't have to try to come take other people from other companies. You don't have to do that. And so that's one thing I've always done over the years, because what I learned is, what I firmly believe as well is, they don't have the leadership. They don't have the corporate side like we do. Even with Lima, when I was in Lima, we had, to me, one of the best owners ever. Gary Racer taught me so much. He was always straightforward. Robin can vouch for that as well. But then also, we had the marketing tools. We had the products. I knew no other company, to me, had Lima Original. They didn't have recording. So I knew what I had my hands on. So I knew all I had to do was just stick around. And then eventually people down the line, if it didn't work out for them, would see that, hey, you're still doing that Limu thing. And I'll be like, yeah, I am. Well, how's it going for you? I got so many people joining now. And I shared with them 3 years ago, 5 years ago. Some of them I even shared with when I was in college. They're just now getting started. And so, and then also to answer the other question is, maybe somebody had a negative experience. Well, the best way to figure out what went wrong with that person, whatever company they was in, or what their experience was to ask questions. Oh, okay. So you tried something like this before. I love asking people questions like that. Oh, so you tried something. Oh, what happened? Well, how long were you in that company? Oh, I was in that company for 3 months. Oh, well, what happened? Like, why'd you stop? Oh, well, I didn't really get any help. They'll say things like, oh, well, The compensation plan changed over the years. Oh, well, this happened, X, Y, and Z happened, and you'll start to figure out that all their objections, and then that's where you can tie into what we have, what you could bring forward to the table. So if I could show you a way that you got a compensation plan that won't change while you're in this company, or I could show you a company that has the best of the best products that's always growing, that all these different things, find their objections and find a solution with what we have, because we have so many different ways that you can approach somebody. And that's what I've done with people that's had negative experience. First, you got to let them talk. You got to me, when somebody's talking to me, if Michelle, you were talking to me and you were explaining the different things about yours, about your negative experience, I personally, if we were on the phone, I'll be writing them down. I'll be taking little bullet points, writing them down right by your name. Michelle, oh, she didn't have no good leadership. She wasn't a fan of the products. Okay. Or whatever it may be, whatever objections you have. And then I run it that way, because now I can tie into, maybe not that day, but later on down the line, I can find ways to present it to you to fix your problems that you previously had. Because I believe people are still open to, even if they had a bad experience before, still open to network marketing. And they'll definitely be open to what we have. You just got to be willing to do it. And then also you can approach them. You can also approach them a different route. Instead of trying to recruit them into the business, get them on the products. Allow them to experience the products first, and then let the products do the talking for you. You can go down their Facebook. You can go down their Facebook and see that they're, maybe they're dealing with whatever, X, Y, and Z, having migraines. I just had a friend that was dealing with migraine. Well, I knew years ago she was in a whole different company. But over the time, I've been building a relationship up, and she left that company. And then I presented it to her, not about the business. I presented to her about, she's a school teacher, so I presented the home detox, and then she also was talking about the migraine, so I presented the Blue Frog, because I know that has helped out some family members and friends that were dealing with migraine. So that would be my approach towards it, about those questions. Now, I do have a question for Miss. Oh, go ahead, Robin. Oh, you got to unmute yourself, Robin. There you go.
I should know that by now. Do you have a question for me?
Well, I will ask you a question.
Okay, so something that when I meet somebody who is in another network marketing company, of course you want to build rapport with them, but sometimes I will ask them the question before. I will wait a couple of years, or sometimes it's required to wait a little while, but if I am curious about something with them, that's all I'm being, is curious. So if Anthony's in another company and I'm getting to know him and I'm talking to him, I might say to him, so I love that you're working with another company. That's awesome. Or I love that you're working with XYZ marketing company, network marketing company. What do you love the best about your company? And I let them tell me what they love about it. And then I ask them, because I'm curious, what do you not like? What do you dislike about your company? What is the thing that you absolutely, is there anything that is not on your favorite list? Or if there was something that you could change about your company, what would that be? Because then they're going to do exactly what Anthony just said. And that is, they're going to tell you everything they don't like. But they're also going to tell you the things they love. And many times we can also fit the things they love, but we can fix the things that they don't like in RX. So you might say to them, wow, I'm really sorry that, they cut your comp plan. That really stinks. How long have you been with them? Have you been making some good money? And did that comp plan change affect your income? Because in RX, we have a Bill of Rights, and I might put it on myself, put it towards myself in first person. I might say, you know, that's something I really love about my company is I don't have to worry about them changing the comp plan. I've been with other companies. I've had that changed. I know good friends that have had their comp plan changed and they lost a lot of money. So you can probe around with the intention of being curious. And you can even say that, you know, Anthony, I'm really curious. I love that you're in that company. What do you like the best about your company? What do you just love about what you do and the company you do it for? And then you say, and then whatever they say, you say, awesome. That's great. I love that too. Oh, don't you love this industry? So fun. You build that up. You build rapport. You do it, use a positive angle. And then I will say, and so out of curiosity again, what don't you like? Or has there been anything that you don't like? Do you know anybody that, if they say, no, I love everything about it, they might be brand new. They don't know a thing about what they're doing, right? So you might just wait a little bit. Wow. So do you know anybody else in network marketing or a different company? Has anyone ever had a bad experience that you know of? Another thing is that you mentioned, Anthony, many people who are in network marketing have been in several companies because they believe in the industry. They believe that it works. It is a model that works. And people, like, you'll see it even in your own business or in maybe you've had were with another company before. Maybe you didn't make a lot of money. I've been with several companies. I probably couldn't even name all of them, but one of them was, my first one was, I started with Mary Kay Cosmetics. I loved that because it was in my lane. It was about beauty and making women feel good. I learned more in that company than I've learned in any other company in my life, but I was with them for 20 years. And I stayed with them even when I went to another network marketing company. So I also had other supplemental companies that I worked for or worked with. I had a company that you could buy furniture at wholesale. That cost me $2,500 to get in, and I never made a penny. I sold my grandmother's crystal to get into that company, and I never made a penny to this day. My gosh, I've done travel, I've done essential oils, you know, you name it. But why? Because most people in network marketing have a belief system that it can change their life. Somehow, it might not be the right fit. The company might not be the right fit. And if you guys join my Zoom in the morning, I'm having Amy Summers on, and Amy Summers is a rock star in RX. I don't know if you guys know who she is. She's from a little town in Kansas. She's, you know, a mother of young children, but she's a social influencer. She was with another company and doing awesome, and she came over to RX. So somebody gave her that opportunity. Her husband, I believe her husband is the one that said, because she was complaining. You know how you are. You complain to your spouse or you complain to your partner and you tell them all the things you don't like because you know they're not going to tell anybody about that. And he said, you know, maybe you should look at this other company. Maybe you should look at RX. And that's how she came on board. And in 11 weeks, she has become a CEO in our company. Now that is pretty outstanding. She's also got one of her teammates that's a CEO. One of her first line personal recruits is a CEO in 11 weeks. And I believe I know they have at least 1,600 people on their team in 11 weeks. Now that's doing really well. And they didn't just bring over their whole team. It's because she's a social influencer, but she believes in network marketing. And that's the key. If you see somebody jumping from, you know, women are famous for this. They do the oils and then they want to try the new makeup, or then they try the eyelashes. You know, for a while it was the lipsticks. and they're doing all these videos on how to put on lipstick. I mean, really, that's a pretty simple thing, right? How hard is that? But how many people want to make $2 on a mascara tube? That's not what I want to do. I want to make some big money. So the network marketing industry is the only industry where you can become wealthy in a very short amount of time and quit your job and to do your business full time. So 2 questions to ask. What do you like the best about your company? Or what do you love the most about your company? And what don't you like? If you could change something in it, what would it be? And I'm just curious because I love this industry and I meet people all the time and I love to hear their story, period. You don't have to, have you ever met somebody? This happens to me all the time. Somebody finds out that I've been with RX or Limu for, 5.5 years, 6 years. And they find out that I've advanced to a high pin rank. They immediately think they're going to be able to recruit me. They start, you should try my product. Oh, you should come over here. You should do this. You should do that. And I'm like, are you crazy? Do you know how hard I worked in this company to get where I am? And I'm a loyal person. So don't go trying. Justin Martin told me this. Don't go try to recruit big fish in another company. You've got to find out what do we have to offer that their company doesn't have to offer? And what do they dislike about their company that our company might have to offer? And it's pretty simple because you'll see that all across the board when you're talking to people. They'll try and push their company on you. If you hold your mouth and you hold your tongue and you don't say anything, boy, that gives you some big stars in their book because you're not coming after them like a piece of meat. You want to genuinely find out about them. Okay, what's your question, Anthony?
Awesome information right there. I hope y'all took notes. I hope y'all use that because that's something I'm going to start using because I'm always beating people. But my question for you, Robin, something I've been watching, over the time I've been watching you, as you came in, we have people that some are brand new, some are watching the recording, some are just kind of getting started, some are just midway, and some have been here a while. But there are people on here, maybe even myself, that are afraid to recruit up. And I know you're one of the best people in the whole wide world of recruiting up. And when I mean recruit up, you guys, I mean pretty much she's not afraid to talk to anybody. Robin will share this with anybody. If you go back, and we all know Dr. Crystal Vance, and if you haven't, go research her story. You'll be amazed. But we like to say that she recruited up, but not only just in that aspect, she recruits up all the time from people that was pretty much in different professions that were different than hers at the current time when she got introduced to Limu. But how would you say, what has been one of the key things for you to recruit up? Like what kind of tips can you give us there on that aspect?
It's a big question, but it's a simple answer. First of all, you have to know what you have in your hand. Your belief has got to be 1,000%. Because if I am looking at, and I have met with some people who I have had on my chicken list. Anybody have a chicken list? You know what the chicken list is? You chicken to talk to them. So I've had many people on my chicken list, and you know what? Sometimes they say no, and it might mean not now. It might mean it's not the right time. It might mean they love what they do. If somebody loves what they do, they're making good money, they don't have time constraints where they feel like they're, strapped to their job. Those are signs that they may not be interested. But most people, look at Brent Palmer. Brent Palmer was making a good 6-figure income, But guess what happens? Your lifestyle increases the same as your income. Same with Crystal. I didn't even know that about Crystal when I approached her. I did not know that she was broke on a 6-figure level. I didn't know that. But I knew that she needed a health benefit. And I didn't. Now, here I am. I'm offering her, I'm just this, normal person. And I'm offering her something for her health. And she's a doctor. Now I didn't even think about that then. She was just my friend. So I introduced her to the business because of the product. I thought, I know that our product could help you. But I didn't say I know. I said, you know what? It might help your autoimmune disease. You should check out this fucoidan stuff. Very simple. And she really didn't, she just said, okay. She didn't even bite it at all. For 3 months, I sat on that for 3 months. And then she called me and she said, it's time for me to do this. She got to a point after 3 months. And the old saying is, in 3 months, everything can change in someone's life. Okay. Look at COVID. Look what just happened in COVID, right? From February to March, everything was going fairly well. And that sickness was all the way across the world. By the end of March, we had the country shutting down. That's just a month. So everything changes in 3 months. And that's what happened for her. She got to a point where she needed to find something more that she could fit in the pockets of her life. And so when you approach someone, you must know what you have in your hand, and you must know how wonderful it is. And if your belief system is not there, you've got to get the belief system. I don't care if you go listen to 100 stories, you go talk to people who have been successful, that have made money. But I'm going to tell you, this pencil that I have, you have never had a better pencil. This pencil writes so smooth. And you know what? It's got this eraser. If you make a mistake, you can just erase your mistake. And it just has, look at it, has these grooves in there. And so your fingers fit really great in the grooves. And so it helps you to write more smoothly. That's what I have in my hand, a pencil. But what do you have in your hand with a business, with this business? We have the opportunity to change people's lives, not just in their health. And if you haven't seen health stories, go find some. There's hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of health stories out there. But there's also hundreds of people who have had their lives changed because of the finances. So you've got to have that confidence. And Tony Robbins talks about this. Every morning he gets up and he breathes really fast for 10 times. And he just gets his body all going, and he does this ritual every morning. And then he talks about 3 things out loud that he says he's grateful for. So if you don't have that kind of an attitude, you get that attitude, you get that confidence. You got to go find it, because changing your future is about how you're going to create it. It's not about what you did in the past. How many times have I failed at different companies because I quit, or because I fizzled out and I just was using the product and I didn't really want to share it with anybody? When you change your mind, you change your life. And so that's really what it's about. So nobody should scare you. Here's another really big key. When I talk to somebody that is, what I feel, recruiting up, or got a better, has a better job than I used to have, or whatever. I've done a lot of things. I've had my own business. I have a fashion designer. I'm a minister. I was the executive assistant to the CEO to a company that was a startup. Lots of things. So I walk with confidence, with my shoulders back. You have to look them in the eye. So if they're on a Zoom, you just have to get really close and look at them. And if you're in person, and I'm going to go over some of this stuff when I teach at the convention, but you have to look them in the eye, and you've got to shake their hand just nice and firm. You don't squeeze it until it hurts. You don't shake it up and down 150 times. You shake it once or twice and you look them in the eye. And then you talk to them with confidence. Because if you don't believe in what you have, you won't have the confidence to talk to somebody that you think has more than you do. So use someone else's story. If you don't have the financial success story and you're trying to recruit up, use somebody else's, and you can tell them, I'm on my way. I'm on my way there. But let me tell you about Brent Palmer, or let me tell you about Crystal Vance, or let me tell you about so-and-so. So that's my 2 cents.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I got some great notes here.
You're welcome.
Got some great notes. Thank you so much. I'm gonna use them too. All right. Now I have a question for Michelle. So Michelle, my question for you is, you've been in the business, not too long, but you've been in here long enough. You also had some success already, some great success already, you guys. It's amazing. What would you say? How would you rate consistency on a scale of 1 to 10? And then also, what can you add to share with somebody about being consistent with this business? What would you rate consistency in this business, 1 to 10? And then also, how would you go about just sharing that, how important that is?
Sure. I would absolutely rate it very, very high. We're talking like 9, 10 out of 10. Like, it's extremely important. And the reason why it's important is because it's like building a muscle. It's building a habit. Even if your consistency is one thing a day, I'm going to do one thing for my business every day. Maybe that is going out and personally meeting somebody that you can have the opportunity to connect with and begin a conversation. Maybe that's reaching out to somebody and following up on a previous contact that you had made. Maybe that is connecting with your team to find out what their needs are, how you can help them to begin to grow. It's creating a daily habit that gets you focused on your goal. And one thing that I'm finding is very important with that is to actually set your goals, like write them down, because if you don't have a goal, a specific thing that you're working towards, how will you know if you're getting there? How will you know if you're making progress? And when you make it a daily habit to take an action for your business and look at that goal every day. Look at it and see, okay, am I making progress towards where I want to be? If I'm not making progress, what do I need to do different? What can I tweak? How can I adjust what I'm doing? Or maybe you'll find you have your goal and you look at it and you go, I'm not getting closer to my goal. So be willing to be really honest with yourself and reevaluate and say, what am I doing that's working well? And if I'm not seeing the kind of progress that I want to see, what can I change? How can I make that different so that I am being successful, right? If we're working towards a specific goal and we have some place in mind that we want to get to, maybe that's a pin rank, maybe that's a certain level of income that we want to see, maybe that's a certain number of team members, or something like our gold status where you earn that matching lifetime bonus, or the matching bonus for life, sorry. Whatever that goal is that you're working towards, if you've set it and you're taking action and then you realize I'm not getting any closer to that, be willing to take a hard look at yourself, be honest with yourself about what you're doing or not doing. And if you find that you're not being consistent, well, your results are probably going to reflect that. And I find that if we had a guest speaker on Coach's Corner last week that said something that just like hit me right between the eyes. He said, don't look at the scoreboard. And what he meant by that is you set your habits, your pattern of behavior. In this case, he was a coach, so he was talking about the way that they played and, their method of their offense and their defense. He said, don't look at the scoreboard in the sense that it affects your performance, because if you are exceeding your expectations, or you've passed your goal, or you're winning, and you think that you've got it in the bag, then you back off and you don't play as hard. And if you're not excelling the way that you want to, and you're looking at that scoreboard, you might feel defeated. So what I took from that is not that we shouldn't keep our goals and our vision in mind of where we're going. That's not what he meant by that. And that's not what I'm saying either. What I mean when I say that is be willing to choose the patterns and the behavior, the consistency that are going to bring the results that you want, and commit to those patterns, those habits, and reevaluate them periodically. Is this working? Is this getting me closer to the win, closer to the goal that I'm working towards? If it's not, we adjust, we tweak, reevaluate. If you're wanting to grow faster, double up your efforts. If you've been reaching out to 2 people a day and that's not getting you to your goals as quickly as you would like, reach out to 4 or maybe 10 people a day so that you're getting there. The important thing is that you're developing the muscle of habit of doing something every day. Because if you don't, one day becomes 2 days, becomes a week, becomes a month, and the next thing you know, you've lost a team, you've lost a lot of opportunities with people. So if you consistently make it a point to do something every day for your business, then you won't slide into that habit of doing nothing, or it's just a day. And then the next thing you know, a week's gone by and you go, oh shoot, like that paycheck wasn't as good as I had hoped it would be. So that consistency is really, really key in getting you farther down the road in your goals. And I would say that on the personal development side of that as well, there's things that we do for our business, and then there's things that we do for ourselves. And those things that we do for ourselves will play out in our business and how we're growing and developing. But it's very, very important to make that a priority, that you're working on yourself, personal development, whether that's a book that you're reading, whether that's a podcast that you've found that you enjoy, whether that is a Bible study or a spiritual time to connect with yourself and with the Lord. That is really huge, so that you are growing and developing as a person, because there's so much of this business that is personal development. And if you are stagnant in that area, if you are not giving that the attention that it's worthy of, you'll probably find that your business is not growing to the extent that you want it to. And I have found that the times when I am growing the most in my organization and my business are the times when I'm digging deep for myself and pouring into developing myself as a person, as a leader, as a businesswoman, as a team player. Those are all things that are really important. So doing those things personally for that individual development, as well as doing those things daily for your business, those are going to come together into this beautiful symphony that they're just going to merge and overlap. And you're going to see that they're going to affect each other. You're going to come across situations in your business and doing those things daily where you tap into what you've been doing on the personal level. And on the flip side of that, you're going to be working on yourself personally, and you're going to see things that's happening in your business and you go, oh, I can do that better because now I have this tool. Or now, I've been working on my confidence level and being able to reach out to somebody like, hey, now I can recruit up because I have been taking the time to work on myself, my ability to, speak to somebody that maybe I'm unsure about how to talk to them, or I've been working on how to start a conversation with somebody I don't know. And then they begin to play in together. And so it's this cool thing where like one goes up and the other, and it's just like this ratcheting up effect, where you're constantly moving forward and raising that bar. So be consistent. Do the things to grow yourself daily and to grow your business, and set goals. And actually, I think write them down, write down your goals, but then also keep a journal of things that your successes, even if it seems small, maybe something that you've done, today, that you didn't think you could do a week ago, or maybe, and you can do any or all of these things. Write down some things where you feel like you're struggling, something that is difficult for you right now, and make it a point to work on that area. And then a week or 2 weeks or a month from now, come back to that and look at it and say, where am I now today? And maybe that thing that you wrote down a month ago that was overwhelming or daunting or scared the daylights out of you, to talk to a certain person, maybe you're going to look at it now and go, that was easy today. A month ago, I could not have done that, but I could do that now. And if you take the time to write down those little victories and those little sticking points that are hard for you, you'll be able to see your progress. And it's progress that keeps us motivated. There is nothing like moving forward, even if it's a little bit, to keep you motivated, to keep you focused on where you're going. And so consistently check in with yourself and your progress to see what's happening within you and within your organization. So that's what I have about consistency. Yeah.
Wow. And that's so powerful, because I think about it, for somebody even trying to lose weight. Think about it. You don't sit up there and go work out, and let's say, for instance, you're trying to lose 50 pounds. You don't go to the gym one day and then expect to lose 50 pounds by the next day. No, it doesn't work like that. It's over time. And then, for instance, when I talk to people and they always say, hey, I'm trying to get in shape, I tell them don't even look at the scale, because the scale can kind of be misleading, because you could still be dropping clothes sizes, but the scale's not moving much. And see, and that's the same thing with your business. Just to just stay consistent. I encourage people to always do that. Do a little something. You know your schedule better than anybody. You know, if you got the kids. Unfortunately, a lot of kids are at home now instead of in the school. So a lot of people are doing more Zooms here in Dallas, for instance. So you know your schedule better than anybody. You know your work schedule. You know what days you have church on. So you know what days it is. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be like me. I'm full time. See, for me, full time, I'm reaching out to 30 people a day. I had a mentor tell me, he said, depending on how many people you want to come in your business, whether it be customers or promoters, that's how many people you need to be reaching out to every single day. So if you want 30 customers, personal customers and reps coming into your business, you got to talk to 30 people every single day. Every single day, you need to just be talking to 30 different people, having conversations. I'm not saying you always got to share the opportunity with them or the products with them, but you need to be having the conversations, so down the line, you'll always have somebody to talk to. But you know your schedule. So if it's just 3 people, well, you know it. Just reach out to 3 people every single day. Tell them happy birthday. Tell them congratulations. I just seen a friend. I was going through Facebook, seen him and his wife just bought a new house. I found a way to reach out to him. Started the conversation up. I asked him about 3 questions, and then I stopped texting them. I'll text them back tomorrow or the next day after that. Consistency, though, every single day. You just got to do something about your business. Robin is a business owner. Michelle is a business owner. And I'm going to tell you this. They've spent more money on previous businesses than they have to get started with ours. The camera that Michelle buys costs probably the more expensive cameras, I know for sure, cost 5 times, sometimes 10 times more than what it costs just to buy products with RX to get started. See, and that's the thing, something I had to learn a long time ago. If you treat this business like a hobby, it will pay you like a hobby. I know people on here, and I know people that's going to watch the recording or just like me, wanted to walk away from what they were doing. Well, if you treat this like a hobby, it's going to pay you like a hobby. And guess what? Most hobbies cost money. It costs money to lose weight. That's a hobby. It costs money to get in shape. You want to know why? You got to buy the more expensive food. You got to pay for the gym membership. Sometimes you got to pay for a personal trainer. See, that's a hobby. It costs you money to do that. But if you treat this like a business, it'll pay you like a business. And it actually pay you very, very well. Very, very well. And so you just have to figure out what it is that you could do every single day. Just a little bit every single day. I promise you over time, like Michelle said, with the consistency, it will pay off. Robin, did you have anything you want to add to that? Or Michelle, you had something else?
I have one more thing real quick, just on the consistency piece of it. So for those of you who like to read and invest time in yourself with books, I would encourage you to get a book called The 1% Rule. It's written by Tommy Baker. It is an amazing book. And he talks about in that book that if you make just 1% progress daily, it sounds like an insignificant amount. Like if you think to yourself, 1%, like what is that even worth? But if you think about doing 1% daily, like where you're at right now, whether that's with your running times or you're working on a triathlon, you know, your progress there, or maybe it's your business, or maybe it's a personal relationship. If you could think about, you know, well, if I was 1% better, would that make any difference? Well, 1% might not make a difference, but tomorrow, then it's 2%. And then the day after that, it's 3%. So it begins to add up over time. And so if you are doing 1% daily, 1% progress each and every day, 1 year from now, you're 365% better than you were when you started. But it compounds. So that 1% is going to develop exponentially and create an even greater return. So I highly, highly recommend that book. It's short, and if you like to listen to books, it's a very easy listen. It's only about 4 hours on the audio side of it, which in a book form translates to a very thin book, but it's very powerful and like little things that you can incorporate that are easy to do. And the idea is to break it down to the very smallest piece that you can do, because then there's no excuse other than I just didn't do it. And so if you break it down to the teeny tiniest little thing that you can do, one, that little thing then is very attainable. It's very doable. And two, it helps you to eliminate excuses that come from, it's overwhelming, there's too much, I don't have time for that today. So breaking it down into those little teeny bite-sized chunks and then working towards 1% progress every day. So get that book and either listen to it or read it. And it's one that I listen to and re-listen to often because there's so much good stuff in it. So that was the last thing on that one.
Yep. And that's pretty much it. If you take that same transition and you turn it into the business, if you want to, well, how can that help me with my business? Well, think about it. If you just talk to one person a day for 30 days, you talk to 30 people. Well, over 2 months, now you talk to 60 people. See, if you just think about it like that, always find a number that works best for you. Find a number. That's how it was for me. When I tell people all the time, people ask me, well, how do you know how many people to talk to? Or when I was in college and I was working 2 jobs and I was a college athlete, my goal was just 3 people a day. I would always just find 3 people to just conversate with, and I would always do my best to try to invite at least 3 people to maybe one of the experience parties we had, to a call we had, whatever it may have been. I always did that number. That was my number. You got to find a number that works best for you. And over time, I promise you, you'll eventually. I remember going through and all I had was, I was 21 years old. The only people who ordered from me was my grandmother, my mom, and my older brother. He went through the weight loss products. I didn't have anybody want to do my first 2 weeks. I didn't have anybody besides them wanting to order products or do the business. And I share it with people all the time. I still have my best friend to this day. We grew up talking about starting a business one day, getting matching Lamborghinis. That was our goal. I introduced this opportunity to him, and he still hasn't joined 9 years later. But see, it wasn't that I didn't look at his, I was hurt that he told me no, But I wasn't doing it for him. I was doing it for me. I wanted something different. And the question is, you got to really ask yourself is, do you want more out of life? And if you want more out of life, you got to be willing to do the things that most people won't do. So you can have the things that most people, you can have the things, and you can also do the things that most people just hope and dream for. You got to be willing to do that extra. You got to be willing to pick up that 10,000-pound phone. It's heavy. It's very heavy, you guys. Call up that friend that you were afraid of. You got to be willing to send out the text message. You got to be willing to make a post on Facebook or whichever social media site you like the most. Be willing to do that every single day. I mean, you literally could spend 30 minutes to an hour every single day, and I promise you, over time, it will help you out. It's kind of like working out. Spending 30 minutes to an hour working out every single day is a lot better than doing none. I was a track athlete, and I could tell you probably like before the last 4 years, I didn't work out. And you know what? At first, I always thought I was just going to have high metabolism, and I thought everything was going to be okay. And I realized that it didn't work like that. Life didn't work like that. If you don't work on yourself, you're never gonna get there. Same thing with your business. If you're not gonna make it to Robin's level, you're not gonna make it to Tim Sales level and all. You're not gonna make it there unless you work on your business every single day and treat it like a business. So treat it like a business. Quit treating it like a hobby.
That's good stuff, Aunt. Thank you.
I'll just add something to that. That's okay.
Okay.
Go for it.
So several of the things that I was going to say, you both have said. So that's awesome. When you make your goal, make it realistic. Don't say, ask yourself, how much money do I need to make a month so that I can quit my job, whenever that is, or how much extra money do I need in my home to pay an extra bill or put a little savings away, whatever your target is, how much is that? And then make it realistic. Don't join the company and then think you're going to make, $100,000 in 6 months. Now it's possible. It's very possible. It's not likely. So you have to be realistic, because if you're not realistic, you will get let down in a very big way. And when you get let down, those are the times that it's harder to come back and get motivated again. So, if like Ant, he has been in this business, 9 years almost? 9 years. He reaches out to 30 people a day. Well, that's a little overwhelming to the new person, right? They're like, I don't even think I know 30 people, but it took him a while to build up to that. He said he started with 3 a day. So 3 is realistic. And if you have extra time in a day, you can reach out to a few more extra people. Say you have a day off, or, you've got 2 days in a row off or 3 days in a row off, and then you work 12-hour days the other days. Well, reach out to 1 or 2 people during those 12-hour days in the pocket. You're going to the bathroom. You have to pee, right? You go into the bathroom, you send a message to somebody, just even if it's happy birthday or congratulations on your house, like Anthony said. Just send out a message to start the conversation. If you don't light the spark, the fire can never burn. You have to light the spark. And so make your goals very realistic. And when you have time, reach out to extra people then. A realistic goal is a couple $100 a month when you're first starting out. If you want to make $5,000 a month, you got to give yourself some time, because you have to give yourself some time for reaching out to a lot of people, getting people in the funnel. You got to have time for disappointment and recovery for that. You've got to have time to personally challenge yourself and grow as a person. And so all those things are taken into, factored in to what your goal is going to be. And then the consistency is the key. And I will say this, I've had some very significant, painful challenges in the last little while, but I'm consistent. I'm not reaching out to 30 people a day, but I'm reaching out every day. Every day I'm reaching out. And my conversation might not be really in depth, but it is a conversation. And another thing, if you're feeling down, if you feel discouraged about something, call somebody else and find out what their problem is and help them with their problem. Because, I'm a person of faith, and the Word of God says, we pray for others so that we might be healed. We pray for others so that we might be healed. And if you don't want to reach out to somebody because you're down, ask God to send somebody to you who needs your help. Because that has happened to me very recently. I was having a very down and discouraging morning, not about my business, but about some other things going on. And my friend called me, and she was, telling me about her husband and, some really significant challenges in her life. Well, what happens when someone calls you and they're down and out, they need your help? Well, you don't just say, wow, that's too bad, Michelle, your life sucks. You say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Can I pray for you? Or you just start encouraging them. So find a way to keep your mind in check consistently, not just reaching out to other people. Find a way to encourage someone else, because that will also encourage you. That's all I got.
And I know we dropped a lot on you guys tonight, but key aspects was consistency. Different things on not being afraid of your list. Everybody goes on the list. I always tell people that, unless they're just negative. I don't put anybody negative on the list, but everybody goes on the list with it, and guess what? Nobody ever comes off the list until they join or they pass away and go home to the good Lord. That's it. But you got to be consistent. So figure out that number, you guys. You got to be able to lay down in bed. Brent went over this the other day, the lie, cheat, steal. I want you to lie down tonight and just think about it. Is this something you truly want? And if you truly want, find that number that works for you. You don't have to be like me. I'm full time, and that's the number I want. So you find a number that works for you on a personal 1 through 30. Don't go more than 30, but at least start with 1. Don't have the goose egg, because the goose egg ain't gonna produce anything in your business. So you got to pick a number 1 through 30 and find that number tonight, you guys, and start tomorrow. Or if you want to knock it out before you go to sleep, then send out that message tonight. It doesn't, it's not going to hurt to send out that message to a friend or a family member and letting them know that, you care about them. And so just find a number. That's your homework assignment. If it was something I could do, is you got to find a number that works for you. We as grown-ups love to give our kids, our grandkids, our nieces, our nephews, things that they need to do. Well, your homework assignment is to find the number that works for you. And find somebody, whether it be myself, Michelle, Miss Linda, Brian, and text one person your number. So you can have an accountability partner. So you can have somebody to hold you accountable for your homework assignment that you have. So many of us are so willing to give other people orders, but we aren't even willing to give ourselves orders. So you got to be willing to do that first. You got to be willing to lead by example. I promise you, because once you start doing it, there's people watching you, and they will start doing it. I had team members that seen me start working out, and the next thing you know, they said, hey, I want to start working out. I started having success in my business again. It relaunched pretty much. And other people in the business started saying, hey, what are you doing? People are always watching, but you can only lead if you're actually doing. You cannot lead by just talking about it. Robin isn't where she is by just telling everybody about it. No, she led by example. I watched her for years now. And she is there because she was doing. And so that's what I encourage you guys. Do your homework assignment live in bed. Think about it. Write it down. And then tomorrow, take action. Take action on the different things you learned today from myself, from the wonderful Robin and the wonderful Michelle. And I will have the recording up for everybody. So that was pretty much it, you guys. So I'm going to stop it and hope everybody got value.